Hi guys, so back on the channel and we have a new addition, bit of a spontaneous purchase this, but went after work on Wednesday, ended up bringing it home, so let's take a look. So we have a Volvo 940 2.3 non-turbo, and I couldn't really resist him. He's pretty tatty. Have a look at the exterior, there's a bit of lack of peel and the old door cards inside have all perished on the top, so we've got this nice gaffer tape effect. Door mirrors could do a bit of a paint, and then generally just the body is showing lots of signs of wear. We're missing a wiper there for the headlight, quite a bit of lack of peel on the bonnet. From a distance it actually looks alright, but when you start getting up close you start to notice some of the issues it's got. Again, the mirror on this side, lack of peel on this back panel is actually not that bad, but a few scratches. I don't know what this stuff is inside. There's like black stuff on the inside of the windows. I don't know if they've been sprayed or something. And then around the back, just little tatty bits that can be tidied up pretty easy. Really want to get rid of this 940 badge, not a fan of that. And then yeah, more tattiness up there. So let's have a look inside. So here in the boot is pretty grim. Looks like maybe a few bodies have been carried around in here. But yeah, not nice. Pretty grotty. Does, however, have 7 seats. How to use the jack. So that's pretty cool. I'm pretty stoked about that. Hopefully get to try it out with the kids. Yeah, I need to have a look at how to clean the headlining. It's again pretty grim. It's been smoked in, so it's a bit stinky inside. One of my friends has actually got an ozone machine, so plan is to refit the interior, and once that's done, get the ozone in here and clear out some of that stink. Right, let's go into the main cabin. So when I first got the car, it was disgusting inside. The guy that had it before me basically was just using it as a van. His van had broke down, and then easy option, just get a big old Volvo, put the seats down and lug all your stuff around. So they are great for that, but obviously it takes its toll on the car itself. And it was really, really grim inside here. As soon as I got it back, next day took it up to the local car wash place, nothing special, and just got them to do a bit of a valet on it, just a mini valet, and kind of take some of the hard work out of it for me. So upholstery cleaned, carpets cleaned. It wasn't the best. I've since gone round and polished it myself and kind of got into a lot of the crevices and stuff like that, but it was pretty grotty, so I really should have filmed it just to show you how bad it was, but I just couldn't live with it. I just needed to get it done so I could just spend a bit of time in here. But upholstery wise now, you can probably see it's actually not bad. The back seats aren't too bad at all. It's got the built-in booster seat in the middle, and And yeah, it's really not that bad. Headlining is probably the worst bit that needs some work, and the driver's seat is pretty bad now. So the bolster's gone just down this side here, which I'll get a few shots of. That's totally gone, totally shot, and the seat itself is covered in fag burns, like even up here on the back. I mean, I don't know how you get a fag behind you like that, but I'm not a smoker, so I wouldn't know. But overall, it's come up pretty good. Like I said, the door cards need doing, but I've actually got some on order, and I've got a whole new interior, which you might have spotted on the walk around, from a turbo. So the sort of like a black, almost like a cord in the middle, and then leather on the outside, so part leather seats, which will be really nice to get in here. It'll just make it a bit smarter, but overall it's not too bad. Engine bay was horrific. So the engine bay looked like it had a water leak at some point, and the coolant's really bad. It hasn't been serviced for ages. You can tell the oil filter's gone rusty. There was rusty coolant sprayed everywhere. So when we first looked at it, it was like, oh god, is this rust everywhere, or is this just like coolant? And it was just coolant, so I scrubbed most of that off. But it really needs a coolant flush, so I'm going to do that as a priority in a full service. Get the timing belt done as well, because that needs to be done, because there's no service history with this car. Passed its MOT last November, so it's still got MOT on it. And having a look around it, I think it would go through an MOT, but there's definitely a few bits that need tidying up and sorting, that could be maybe questionable, but definitely service is one of the first things to do. Unfortunately, well, it's not unfortunate, but as soon as I got the car, got it back, and that night Liam was dropping me a couple of messages of stuff that he found on Facebook Marketplace. One was the full set of seats, and the other was a set of door cards. So the kind of funds that I'd put aside to do bits on the car were eaten up by the interior, really. So interior is probably the first bit that I'm just going to fit. I have got the stuff to flush the coolant system, do that. I just don't like seeing that rust in there, so get that done. So yeah, it's called Bricky. So Archie's named it. It's called it Bricky because it looks like a big red Lego brick basically. So I kind of like that. But yeah, let's give you a couple of shots of the interior. One thing that is a bit odd is this. When you turn the wheel, that creaking noise, it's bloody horrible. So I whacked some silicone grease down in here. Some WD-40 silicone, hoping that it would kind of take away any rubbing, but it didn't. So I think I'm going to take this cowl off, get inside and have a look. But if anyone actually has a 940 and knows anything about that, just drop a comment, it'd be really appreciated. We've, again on this side, got the dodgy door cards. Not actually too bad down below, they haven't split too bad, there's just a few chips out of this one. But yeah, it's not cleaned up too bad at all actually. That's probably a bit harsh on it at first, but when we first got it, it was pretty gross. The interior, so I'll be selling this interior soon because I've got new seats to come in. Little glove box, keep your bits in there. So yeah, it's a really nice car. I'm just excited to get it serviced, get it on the road. So gearbox wise, it pulls pretty well in gear, but what I found is when you put it in reverse, if you just take your foot off the brake, it comes back as you'd expect an automatic to do. But if you actually put your foot on the accelerator, there's a lot of juddering, and you have to really put your foot down, and then suddenly it just flies back. So I think it needs a good gearbox service as well. So drain the oil, put no oil in, give it a test. Hopefully that'll fix it. If not, might need to do a bit more diagnostics, but yeah, we'll see. So here we have the main offender. This chair was the whole reason for looking at an entirely new interior. We see fag burns, more holes. It's like Swiss cheese, this. So yeah, the carpets actually came up really well. Let me look at it. Let's have a little look in the back. So again, nice bit of gaffer tape. It's always the go-to. But yeah, the interior's not cleaned up too bad. I really don't like this sagging. I know it's really kind of petty, but I'm kind of particular. This I found really cool. So in my V70, it's got booster seats in these sections that you lift up. But I quite like this little centre booster that they put in on these 940s. I think it's a pretty cute little thing in there. So that is Bricky the 940.